a special segment here on the State of the Union. It's my pleasure to welcome Nikki Mark, the author of Tommy's Field, Love, Loss, and the Goal of a Lifetime. Out yesterday, we're recording this again on Wednesday, January 24th, out Wednesday on Union Square Publishing. First off, congratulations on writing a book. That in and of itself is an incredible accomplishment. Thank you for coming in, and not just coming in, but coming into the studio to be with us today. This book, I finished it over the weekend. It is amazing because it has so many different facets, and the main part of this book obviously is it was born out of incredible tragedy. In April 2018, your 12-year-old son Tommy died. He went to sleep and unfortunately never woke up. He was in reading this book, I know an incredible Spitfire and a wonderful soccer player, played for the LA Galaxy and LAFC Academy. And while this is, as I said, born out of this grief and this devastating tragedy, it's also an incredible story of resilience and family for not just you, but your husband, Doug, your other son, Donovan, your stepson, Ethan, and even your dog, Ginger, makes plenty of appearances in this book. So that was really, really cool. As I said, about family, about community politics and local government and red tape and bureaucracy and spirituality and mysticism and youth soccer, the landscape that we talk a lot about here on this show, and that dysfunction at times, and also the microcosm of your experience as to what it is relative to our country and even changing demographics. All of these different things I found in this incredible book. I guess my first request, it's not even a question, request is tell us about your son and what made him so special, both as a soccer player and as a young man.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's really an honor to be here. Tommy was a connector, and he loved to play, and he played everything, and he played all day long, and he sang, and he danced, and he played soccer, and he played football, and he loved sports. And so when he left, the minute he left, I knew, like how hard this boy had played in life. And it felt like a lesson to me to play. Enjoy this life, Mom. And as sad as I was, as horrible as I felt, I knew I needed to share that spirit of play with others. And by doing so, I would learn to embody it myself.
So one of the things throughout this book is that power, and like I said, his almost pushing you to go forward. And a huge part of this book is the fight and then ultimately the success and creation, I'm not giving anything away, of creating Tommy's Field, a soccer field in the Westwood area of Los Angeles where you live in. That ultimately came to fruition in 2021. You since have gone on and built another soccer field in Vista Del Mar. And who knows what the future holds when it comes to this. But this was also interesting in reading this book. This was something that you had talked about and thought about doing and even started even before his death. And obviously, when he passed away, this incredible sorrow that you were all going through, but also him being there to push you to do this and to go through all of these different challenges that you go through in this book. Can you take us through some of the challenges? Because there's a lot out there that you've been through in order to get these fields made. And again, these fields are for local communities, and you raised an incredible amount of money and came up time and time again against challenges to put in fields for the community, like I said, and fields that you were going to pay for.
Yeah, so before Tommy passed away, he asked me what my next job would be. And I told him I wasn't sure. I did startups, but that I wanted to improve a field in a park for children to play on. We don't have enough soccer fields in the city of Los Angeles, and especially none where kids can just show up and free play. He loved the idea, said he couldn't wait for it. And so when he left 3 days later, unexpectedly, a friend said, let's build that field, let's share that spirit of play. So I was driven by love and by a promise to him. And we set out to raise over $1 million to gift the city of Los Angeles this field. We did that. The whole community came together. It was beautiful, it was tragic, and then the community process began for the city of Los Angeles. And I was asked by our council members team, "Do you have the community support?" And I said, "Of course, the community raised this money. It's been very public, and we've had multiple events." What I didn't know is that the community could also be people who live next to a park that just didn't want to share their park with others. And that began a whole local political movement I had no idea I would face. And I was grieving. I just wanted to serve our community and give this gift and honor my son. And it turned into a 9-month delay trying to weave my way through city government, through local politics, trying to negotiate, trying to just assure everyone that we had no ulterior motive but to serve and honor. And ultimately, it took 12 community meetings all over the city, hundreds of people coming to each one, lies and twisting of words. I mean, it was basically a bit of a microcosm of our world in one little field. And all we wanted to do was refurbish a dirt field with holes.
I mean, some of the scenes that you paint here, and actually some of the characters that become characters in this book, and almost villains at times, but you work through that, and the whole NIMBY type of thing, not in my backyard, that you mentioned. Did you find that a lot of these people that were against something like this weren't even necessarily against upgrades to a park or soccer for that matter, but just the power that they felt to be against something and to push back on it, and almost this strange human characteristic that we probably all have a little bit of, but it comes to the fore in these types of situations. And how did you work around that?
So the old school political leaders in Westwood and around the park, they were upset that we did not approach them first. But I did not know they existed. I was a grieving mother. I was a businesswoman. I had never been involved in local politics like this. And so it was all a surprise to me. And I just figured we can fix this. It's all fixable. The only thing that's not fixable is Tommy, but everything else we can fix. And nobody understood that these types of problems are so silly and man made when you go through a loss like I've been through. So I really just kept optimistic that we would find a way. Those that live next to the park, quite frankly, they didn't want people who played soccer in their park. They didn't like what that might look like, some of them. Some of them just liked it quiet and empty, didn't want more people in it. And, at the end of the day, there was nothing we could say or do, no matter how many different designs we offered, that would change their mind. And that's when we knew, my family knew, our community knew, it wasn't about the field. This was about ego, it was about fight, it was about winning and losing. And for us and our family, we had already lost. We lost Tommy. This was just a gift.
Let's go back a little bit to Tommy because, as you made very clear in the book, he had visions and ambitions to be a soccer player, as many kids out there do. As I mentioned, he played for the Galaxy, he played for LAFC. You even have a history when it comes to LAFC in working capacity off the field. Um, what was first? What do you think attracted him to soccer, and then how do you think he changed as a young man because of soccer, above and beyond the actual kicking of the ball?
He grew up on a soccer field. His older brother Ethan played. He grew up, sitting there watching it. The minute he found a ball, he never stopped. He was kicking the walls in our home. We were breaking windows. And quite frankly, we became a soccer family and we loved every minute of it. And we still do. And I think that soccer, I really didn't know this until he left, how much it teaches you about life. Learning to receive and to give and to connect and to attack and defend. I mean, these are all aspects of life that we need to learn. And he studied it and he practiced it. And I think what he probably loved most about it is how it connected him to people because he was such a connector. Anywhere he went, he'd pick up a ball and just start playing. He made friends within seconds because of the ball and the game. And so anywhere we traveled, anywhere we were, old, young, didn't matter their background, he played. And he had a smile on his face when he did, and it was beautiful to see.
We're always trying to crack the code here when it comes to youth development, and you have been, and maybe to a certain extent continue to be a part of that ecosystem and a part of that at times crazy dysfunction. If you had your way and you were given the opportunity to do things and to change things out there, what do you think needs to be done to, and again, not just produce better soccer players, because we can certainly do that, but ultimately through soccer to produce better young men and women who are then going to go on and lead, in our case, what I feel is the greatest country in the world, in the United States, but using soccer to acquire those skills.
Yeah, I'm at the ground level on the field with the kids. So I'm at the bottom of the system. And what I've learned through this healing journey of mine is that change happens at the bottom. But you need a vision. And for me, I mean, I would just love to see US soccer have a vision that the bottom of the system can tie into and understand and see. Because to get there, to create that vision, the bottom has to buy into it. It has to develop into it, and they need to have the freedom to do it any way they want. Some of these kids may develop in the United States. Some of them may go off to Europe. Some of them may find their own path in between, whatever that is. I mean, the pathway should be free to discover the best for each child, but the vision should be really clear and connect us all. And I think the madness of the system, and I just see disconnects all over the place. And it's part of the fun, but it's also part of the frustration, and maybe why, so many children fall off and out of the system. They simply don't know how to maneuver within it. It's complicated.
Yeah.
And it should be simple.
You mentioned connection. Throughout this book, you talk about the connections that you had and still have with Tommy. And as I said, you go through all sorts of spirituality and things in that you can feel, you can talk to him, and you can certainly feel his presence. What do you think he is saying right now, seeing his mom and what you have been able to accomplish, and everybody around you, because it takes a village. We all know that.
Oh,
What do
yeah.
you think he's saying right now about you? And I'm sure he's still as big a soccer fan as he ever was. What do you think he's thinking about the game right now?
I think I can feel his spirit buzzing. I think he is so proud and happy to still be playing in his own way. I feel like he's playing through me and his family and his community and buzzing in all of our ears and saying, let's keep playing, let's get louder. And, I think this book, I'm so proud of him because his impact keeps growing. And I believe we wrote this book together, and he comes through me and my heart. And I think that he's the one that wanted to be a star, and he's the one that loved being center of attention and loved talking and connecting to all kinds of people. And in a way, I feel like he's doing some of that through me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he is a star, and whether it's the the things that he has given you and others the power to do, or whether it's simply the opportunities with these fields that you have put in. And correct me if I'm wrong, possibly more fields as we go into the future.
Yeah, we're talking to the city of Los Angeles about a third field, and we love it. And the community's behind it, and we have amazing donors who love the project and love sharing the spirit of play. I mean, at the end of the world, there's so much darkness, it feels, and one thing we can all do is play. And when we play, we laugh, we make new friends, we feel better, and maybe that's just some more light that we can all create in the world.
Well, I'm sure Tommy is very proud of you and all of your efforts and everything that you're doing. Again, Nikki Mark, thank you for coming on the State of the Union. Again, this is Tommy's Field. It's the new book out called Tommy's Field: Love, Loss, and the Goal of a Lifetime. Pick it up, because whether you're into soccer or not, I think you're going to dig it. And as I said before, all the different stories that are part of this story are just fascinating. Like I said, a look into the craziness that is local government and all that. Again, Tommy's Field. Check it out. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.